Hey, how's it going? I I have some cards and I wrote a piece, but I'm not actually going to read the piece. I'm just going to link it, but I will talk about what I was writing about because I didn't have I hadn't determined a subject to talk about or to ask the cards a question about. So I have some cards too. I may have already mentioned that. But anyway, I have cards, and I didn't have a question to ask cards until like the last moment. So anyway, what got me headed in that direction, I talk about it in the piece, but I barely touch upon the inspiration at the beginning because, as I say, I don't feel like now is the time to specify on those particular items. I mean, I will. That time is definitely coming. But you have to be careful if you're gonna try and talk about certain subjects, especially right now. It seems like even as I'm learning how connected things are, like I talk about it a lot about people being connected, and that certainly applies here, but it's a different category, I guess you could say. So, yeah, at the moment, I don't really want to specify about that stuff. And I think I'm right because no one else is doing it, but I can't be the only one that knows this stuff. It has to do with unfolding events of, topical stuff, like what's everybody talking about? What are we being lied to about? And what things are we talking about that involve things being hidden from us? It's stuff along those lines, things of that nature. So, because there's a history of flying too close to the flame badly not affecting people well, I'm just gonna back off for now. You can guess as you wish. So anyway, I have a Declarations of Mary Magdalene card, and I'm going to read it to you. It says, when one loves thyself in wholeness, one is at peace in thy heart. So, obviously, that is if you can be like a calm feather, unaffected, just hovering, floating, while there's chaos, like a tornado or something happening all around you, if you can just float amongst that, unaffected, unruffled, then you can do that because you have reached a place of wholeness within yourself. And with that comes the understanding, a lot of understandings, like the fact that, yeah, you could get killed, but, that's just part of life. That's not even anything particularly woo-woo. It just happens to be the reality of reality. But if you're not, if you're not whole within yourself, which loving yourself in wholeness, you have to be in wholeness to love that. You can't approach something that's not there. And so wholeness, the way I understand it, is on one hand, you could say if you have a good meshing of your divine masculine and feminine within yourself, from there you can go out in the world and like do anything almost. Like you have that as a part of your toolkit of your capabilities. But that's like just an example. There are other ways to come, like to know yourself, to like eliminate your fears as much as you can, because those are, I think, renewable. You can develop new ones, but if you can, calm down and sort of quiet the ones that you have, so that you can operate without them affecting your ability to think, or like, losing the ability to regulate your emotions. Like if there's a bunch of chaotic things happening around you and there's lots of high emotion where people like kind of are not able to hold it together, it's good if there could be someone there, some element in the situation that's not, right in front of your eyes, falling apart or going crazy or something. I know that's kind of vague sounding, but I'm trying to describe something that I have not experienced. A landscape, I guess, that has yet to solidify. But it's just it's like any other type of preparation, like girding yourself for whatever, like whatever you think you're gonna run into, you like develop and strengthen the skills that you feel like are gonna serve you or protect you best in that situation. So imagine if you like rectified all of the things inside of you that are kind of like holding you back, or that you have yet to discover but have an effect on your life that you would like to change. And so even though you didn't know what it was exactly, you knew something was messed up and you wanted to fix it, right? So let's say you've done all of those things, and then that creates a whole new landscape where, again, like, it's yours to fill out, to decorate, to color in. It is as yet undeveloped, you're the architect. Like, you can go in and make the world as you feel it should be. To live in this one, as it's transitioning from the world we know to the world we're gonna make or whatever, you also need a toolkit and a defense mechanism if you want to help yourself and others. So it's just always a good idea to be prepared. Even if you don't know what's coming, you just kind of do your best to prepare yourself to deal with any eventuality. And that takes like an inner fortitude, and that goes along with that becoming whole within yourself. Like, you have to like go to rock bottom and have your like darkest day to understand certain things. So I think that once you get control of your inner self, I mean, I think somehow that's more massive than whatever craziness is going on in the outside world, because once you master your inside world, then you can master the outside world, no problem. That's conjecture, but the teachings sort of indicate that type of thing. Speaking of the teachings, in Star Wars where Obi-Wan is fighting Darth Vader. Was it Darth Vader? Been so long since I've seen it. But yes, I believe he was fighting Darth Vader. And then he says to Darth Vader that I'm going to paraphrase because, again, it's been a long time, but if you take him out now, you're just going to make him stronger. So I think about that a lot, you know. I guess it's like sort of the power of the martyr, but sort of like it. Like, I'm not talking about a martyr here, you know. So I have been seeing videos from this woman, and I started following her, but she talks about Michael Jackson and his soul a lot, and how he still has an effect on the world today, even though he's gone. Like, that movie came out about his life, and whatever people are saying about it, like, some people are, of course there's camps, but some people are like really enthusiastic about it and happy to see it. And you know, I guess his nephew did a really great job playing him and learning how to dance like him and do all of the things that he did, that, you know, his mannerisms and his voice and everything. And so some people think it's really good, and then some people hate it or are mad at it because it doesn't address the negative stuff, like the trials and things that were all of these allegations, ugly allegations against him. And what this woman is saying, and I had already like decided how I felt about him. Like, it's really easy to get swept up with everybody making assumptions. But there was something about him the whole time, his whole defense. I just never felt like... I definitely felt like he's a weirdo, and he behaved strangely, but I didn't think he was a perv with those kids. I just didn't. And so, this woman came up in my feed. I don't know, like, I was watching a clip of Bashar talking earlier. Bashar, who Daryl Anka channels, and Bashar was saying that there's no coincidence. There are none. Like, even if you're in a traffic jam, the person next to you in traffic that you see out your window and you are there for a reason. And so it might not be for your karma or your whatever you've got going on, but it's something that requires your presence. And you don't have to. I talk about this a lot. Like, it's not all about you. Like, other things are happening and your presence may be required, but you don't have to be conscious of that, or even that there's anything going on other than your own stuff. It's crazy that way. But, so, I guess, like, the movie coming out sort of heightened Michael Jackson's sort of afterlife abilities to affect this side of the veil, you know. One of the titles on a thumbnail today said something like, he sent out a big blast, like, I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like, he had a big effect today. So, and I'm wondering if that was the same day that we had that huge solar flare activity that sent this like belt of energy to just come like it looked like a belt, like in mid-flight, flying down here to just slap right on the planet. And that day, well, let's see, physically I had to be like unconscious. I couldn't, like, I started to feel tired, and that's not unusual because like my health, that happens a lot. But this was different. Like, I couldn't get over there and get the bed straightened out the way I wanted it so I could get in it fast enough. Like I just barely made it. Like, you know, I remember I like laid down and my head hit the pillow and I was like, whoo, I did it. And then it was like 8 hours later. So, that's an unusual length of time for me to sleep if I don't have a cold or something. Like, usually my max is like 4 hours, 5 hours. So, and I knew something was up that day, and I guess I did know about the solar thing ahead of time, but I've kind of not really I guess I was feeling cocky. I was thinking, oh, I don't have to worry about those anymore. Like, that's not a big deal anymore. But I was wrong. That's okay. It was smacking some information into us. Pardon. So I have also some Shaman's Dream Oracle deck cards. And I haven't pulled those in a while, but I was just like, hey, why don't you use those today? And I was like, hey, okay. All right, so let's see what we got from there. We got number 57. That adds up to 12. And the card is Unmarked Trail. And the subtitle is Revelation. That word literally came up in my essay, which I will link again. Or a form of the word revelation. So, this image is trying to jump out of my hand. Where are you going? Oh my God. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Hold on. So this image is like a fish out of water trying to jump out of my hand. Pew! Trash can's under there and the lid was open. Pew! Vegetable matter. It's kind of overwhelming. Alright, so as you can see, the image is, I think it's a stack of some sort of stone type situation. But you can see that there's graduating sizes, like smaller to larger. But it also does that the opposite way. So that's either a reflection. Well, I think it is a reflection. What was that? Speaking of solar flares. And I think it's meant to be a reflection. Because, it says unmarked trail, like I was talking about before. Like, we don't quite know what's ahead yet. And so, what I think it is like, you looking in the mirror, you see your image, but I think what it's saying is right now, all you got is your image. And then with that, you go forward and you start making the trail. It's funny, I was talking about hitting rock bottom again. Well, I mean, you do it many times throughout your life, but I was talking about hitting rock bottom, and it's a time where you do your most intense reflection, and so mirrored image, kind of denoting reflection. And I think, I mean, if you are headed out into a situation where it's just sort of unspecified, and you have to go in there and sort of fill in the blanks, literally, you're going to be searching yourselves. You're going to do a lot of soul searching to know the right thing to do going forward in your unexpected future, or unknown future, rather. Okay. I guess that's it. Ouch. I guess that's it for that card. So the next one is Whale Song. It's number 61. That adds up to 7. And so it is there is a whale, and it is in some sort of circle. And it often reminds me of Stargate, the television show or movie, of the actual Stargates, where the inside of the circle is where you travel from dimension to dimension. And when the device powers on and actually operates a what do you call it? Not transaction, not translation. But when it powers on and someone actually uses it to go from this point to whatever the program other end is, the water activates inside of that ring, and I've always thought it looked like a toilet flushing. I mean, it kind of does. But I think it's interesting that, like, I'm seeing it as a Stargate. It's also looking like a crystal ball, too. I don't really have much... I don't relate to those as much as I do a Stargate, I guess. But the whales have been in the news, and I keep talking about how... Not only that I felt for a long time that they were trying to communicate with us through, like, subaural sound, because they can vibrate sound on that kind of level, like below the level of hearing, but you sort of feel it, or you absolutely feel it. And so then there was also the post that I saw where the thumbnail was saying, you know, the whales are saying we're in danger. Like, I knew they were saying something. I shouldn't be surprised that that would be the message, because look at where they live and look at what we've done to it. Like, we've made their home, the sea life's home, a toilet and a trash barrel for all of our garbage. And, you know, I don't want to, like, go off into total, you know, fanatic territory here, but it's serious. We, not just for their sake, but I mean, if we make their life better, it's gonna make our life better. It always makes our lives better when we are in service to helping someone, or we, you know, do things in terms of service, like with that thought in mind, you know, whatever it is you happen to be doing. So they are here as sort of companions, sibling, guardians, and we don't, I guess, realize or even think about the idea that they could be there, like, hi, we're connected to you too. You know, you use water, we really super use water. We do in other sea life, and it's like they're making an entreaty to us and warning us of the dangers of continuing to treat both of our homes so carelessly. There's time. We don't know yet how we're going to fix it, what we're going to do about it, but within the time of waiting... See, I didn't read the piece, but I talk about long arcs of time where you're waiting for stuff to happen that you wanted to happen already, yesterday, 100 years ago. Like, wanted this to be already have happened type thing. But that's not the way things roll. You have to... There's a procedure. And there's a way to do things. But also, there's a clock, you know, like... There's a clock already going for a number of pertinent things to life on Earth, but you know, taking care of the environment is, I think, more important than any political anything on a poll. If you ask me about war, economy, healthcare, you know, space invasion, I would be like, no, let's deal with the first thing. Let's deal with cleaning up our home and keeping it livable for everyone. And stop being... How can we be so selfish and thoughtless as to just spitefully litter and pollute? Or at all, but the spiteful gets me. Or, like, I don't get it, but it gets me. Like, why? Why are you doing that? Like, who are you trying to impress? Okay, so the next card is Fortune's Wheel. It is the number 23 card. Well, 23, I guess, is the angel number for angels. Like, if you're talking about angels, you can say 23, and people who know should be all, angels, I guess. I'm not an expert at this stuff. Anyway, so the card is Fortune's Wheel, and the subtitle is Luck and Right Timing. Wow. So the piece that I wrote was very much about timing. I love it when things coincide that way. So this, this to me is about the same as the Wheel of Fortune in your tarot deck. There's light coming from like behind this shield or Wheel of Fortune. God, why do I call it a shield? Kind of reminds me of a shield. In the camera, it's more easy to see, but there are, or through the camera's eye, I should say. On the screen, you can see there's lights poking from behind the wheel. But in the camera, what I can see are actual, like as if this were shedding actual rays of light. I can see this shooting a line across here. This one shooting a line across here. Like, it's very pronounced. And then up through here, I thought like it might be light, but it's not. I don't know. You can just look at it. You can see that, like, in the, it looks like wicker. In the weaving of this wicker, there seems to be, for some reason, a light patch. Like, almost as if it was, like, burned by a sun, like a light beam. I don't know. Why am I talking about that so much? I guess there's worse beams to be hit by than light beams. I mean, I'm not talking about energy weapons. I'm talking about rays from the sun. I think it's not too bad, you know? And actually, there's a lot of good to sitting in the sun or getting the sun on you and in you and whatever. I feel like I'm getting sidetracked. Where am I going? Oh, okay, so like going forward in like the scenario I was talking about before, with the unknown feature, you want the light and everything it represents to light your way and guide you in whatever you do. And so luck and right timing. We're just going to say that now is the time. The time is now. It seems like that is the point. And you can go forward, bravely forward, and in confidence because you are in the right place at the right time. And you're like the first one on scene. You sort of get to set the tone of a new virtual place, or I don't know, theoretical place, imaginary place, another dimension, a pocket dimension, if you will, So you can stay there. You can come and go at your leisure. Okay. The last card I have is number 7 card. And 7, like, just to take gambling, for instance. 7s are kind of like a good number to get in gambling. That's also true in numerology and in, like, angel numbers, too. So, I don't know, 7, you just got it going on. You're the good luck and everything. So the last card is Covenant, and the subtitle is Sacred Contract. So in keeping with the unknown future, the future that you can write, there is the blank page. And on there, the first people to arrive in this unknown new land will be the ones, like I said, setting the tone, setting the pace, setting the spirit for like the new year, the new groundbreaking, the new home, the new life, that comes into the world, your offspring. Pretty much all like positive, good thinking things. Pretty much all sort of positive things. Things don't always go all positive all the time, as we all know. Like, if you were gonna just if you were gonna come in from like another dimension, another Earth, let's say, and so you kind of have an idea of what's all going on, and so you get here, and then you discover like, oh wow, that's really messed up here. Like, you have all these wars and things happening, and all these people in groups against each other for very strange reasons, and like, why do you have that? That all is happening right now in our world. So it might look strange to someone that has like almost exactly the same world, but all this stuff is not happening on their Earth. That's also, I think, in the contract. Like, I think that's carryover. Or, like, it's not done. It's stuff that's not done here. That's not finished. We have old things overlapping right now. It's like all of these major historical events that kind of ended badly, or could have ended better. It's like we're getting all these chances to have a redo, to have a makeover, and what does that say? Oh, good. And that's yeah, I mean, that's like something that is a contractual agreement that's carried over for a long time, because it is something, oh my gosh, that we have had to do in increments of time. Get out of Dodge. The title of the piece that I wrote that I'll be linking is called Increments. And so, yeah, that's okay. So that's why we have some carryover. Like, what I was saying about Basher, talking about the people on either side of you on the freeway, like, even if you have no more to do with them than just to notice that person was there on that day at that time, that I feel like is what's happening now. Is like all of the people that weren't there for the other parts, the previous increments, the unfinished business, like, now is when everyone has coincided. Like, everyone who was there is here. Everyone that had something to do that they didn't finish, they're here to finish it. And so it's not going to look, exactly the same as it did originally, but you can still accomplish the same things you're out to accomplish if you put a different hat on it, like the main thing is still there, so however it's dressed up or wherever it's landed is not so important. It's not as important as completing the mission, finishing the job, not letting your work just dangle, like with no ending. And boy, it's almost, I feel like the fact that those things that they're like having to do with unsettled, aggressive, warlike times, have like just having them laying about unfinished and left open-ended, like some of their energy I feel like has leaked out and is part of like the energy of what we have now, like part of that blend of emotions and events. I can't help but feel like there's this huge convergence of all of those things trying to happen at once, trying to repair at once. So we're all being called upon for a lot, just as people, not necessarily knowing that they're participating in like this grand architecture. Like it's one of those things where it's so big that one side can't see what the other side is doing, and so maybe can't even hear, like they don't know. And still, things have to converge and come together and mend, repair. And that's good. Like that. Also, that is why we're here. Even though the terrain may change, we're still us. Some of the problems, or maybe they're not problems, maybe they're just things that have to happen a certain way for other things to be able to happen in a way that needs to happen. I don't know. It's on the other side of the area. I can't really see. I just have to trust the plan. I just have to have faith. I just have to stick with my contract and I have to just do my contractual agreement and not worry about all that other stuff too much, because in conclusion, all of that stuff kind of, well, when I say that stuff, I'm talking about those unfinished affairs, but there is also, I think I might have forgotten. Finish our contractual agreements. I'll be darned, I did forget what I was gonna say. Dang it was like deep too. I'll be darned, I forgot. I've gotten so good at remembering. If I back it up, can I back it up and remember what I was talking about? I know I was talking about completing those contractual agreements. Oh, they're still here. We're still here. We still have to like finish the unfinished, because we don't want to take anything that hasn't been settled behind, that hasn't been cosmically adjudicated, I guess. And yes, there is a clock. It's not as scary as it sounds. We don't have to finish it all in the next 15 minutes, but I feel like we should treat it that way. We should treat it as if in the next 5 minutes we're going to run out of time. Like we have so much to accomplish before we do have to feel like we're running down the clock. That again, not to like make it daunting or scary or anything, but still important. Like, you don't want to lapse on your contract. I don't even know what the penalties might be. Oh my gosh. I don't think that's like a thing. I think that's a human construct. Like, I think what happens when you screw up on the level that I'm talking about, like on the level where you make a contract to incarnate on a planet that's going through some stuff just to help, just for shits and giggles, you still have to complete you have to complete what you agreed to come here and do. But as far as penalties are concerned, I think the way we pay penalties is when we have the review of after, we pass to the other side and we review our work that we did there, then we see what we successfully completed or still needs work. But one of the things that happens, and I think this is more scary than, like, dang it, going to hell. Like, I think we can put ourselves there because we can create that, and it's really hard to, look how hard it is for us to, get through each other's biases, and I know this, and so I can't possibly learn anything else. There's nothing else, I just know. And it's like, come on, nothing in the world is like that. So, yeah, we have time, especially for us, because we, especially in comparison to, like, NET or something like that, we're not here that long. They are around for what seems like forever to us. And yeah, we still have time, even though it's on that level. I think what wastes our time is not knowing that we're supposed to be doing something. But, we figure it out, and then we do our best to get to work. But that is how you end up with unfinished business after you pass. So they say in the teachings I've been taught. Okay, I think I'm done. Thank you and good night. Boop. Now, come on now, boop. You're not booping.